Right, well, let me just delve straight into the citynewsroom.com. Vote for MPP to protect your future. Napo tells nursing students, and that's the big front page story of the online portal really of citynewsroom.com. Zebela MPP parliamentary candidate questions AG on withdrawal of rival Bokunaba arrest warrant. Also here, like I earlier said, parts of Laboni Honeysuckle destroyed by fire. Kumasi Prempeh, the first airport runabout, deteriorates, causing major damages to vehicles. Election 2024, EC drops Yasako printing press. Supreme Court infringes on Parliament's authority. That's coming in from MP for Bole Bamboy, Yusuf Suleimana. Also here, for battle for Sunyani East parliamentary seat. That's a feature on the elections, really, in the Sunyani area. Commonwealth will flourish under Ayoko Boche, and that's coming in from the country's president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Galamsey activities wash parts of the Aboy in Kwanta Samri Boy Road. And also here, I'm humbled by the trust of the Commonwealth leaders. Ayoko Boche speaking after her historic election as the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Also here, some other stories. VRA sweeps 3 prestigious awards at the 8th Energy Awards. Ajay Anan has been speaking. He says, I've been signed by Lynx Entertainment. And he made that revelation on the chat show. Newmont Ahafomine are judged best company at Ghana Club 100 Awards. And then these are some of the big stories on the front online portal page of the citynewsroom.com.
All right, let me bring you ChannelOneNews.com, and you'll see 44 TV stations cited for indecent, offensive content. Fire breaks out at Honeysuckle Pub in Laboni kitchen area affected. EC drops Yasako printing press, appoints new firms. Prioritize dialogue to resolve impasse. Parliamentary Network Africa to majority. Refusal of NPP MPs to sit on minority side of Parliament. Refusal of NPP MPs to sit on minority side out of arrogance. That's according to Yusuf Suleimana. 90% of Ghanaians seek honest candidates for 2024 elections. That's according to an Afro Barometer report. If you come here, Akufo-Addo hails Ayoko Boche's election as Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Prioritize dialogue to resolve impasse. Parliamentary Network Africa to majority. City FM, ChannelOne TV holds capacity training for journalists ahead of election 2024. I'm not surprised Kurt Okoreku hasn't resigned. That's according to George Efriye.
Yeah, George contested him 5 years ago for the position of GFA president, and there are rumors that he's going to contest him again after the second tenure of Kurt ends. But moving straight to the Ghana News Agency.org.gh. Over here, their big story says restore DACF allocation to 7.5 of total national revenue, and that's coming in from Mr. Kwesi Ahoy. Also here, President Akufo-Addo congratulates Ayoko Boche on election as Commonwealth Secretary. Government builds 16 public employment centers as it revamps the Labour Department. GNA journalist urged to champion change in society through advocacy journalism. Reuters report of alleged terrorist activities in northern Ghana not factual. That's coming in from the Ministry of National Security. So later on, I'll bring excerpts of that story to our viewers. And finally here, Ibn Chambers, the African Union High Commission representative for silencing the guns in Africa. An interesting portfolio, right?
There's a story here on Channel One TV. City FM, Channel One TV adjudged tourism-oriented media at 2024 National Tourism Awards.
You know the thing they say about water is wet, right?
Yeah.
Like water is wet. It's fact.
Like it's fact.
It's not that deep. It's not that big, right?
But it is big.
You know,
it's an award that we'll cherish.
Because
I feel like we've been winning
it's normal.
We've been winning it successive.
That is what I meant by water is wet.
Next year we'll win. The next 2 years we'll win.
Charlie, Heritage Caravan is the biggest. I don't want to go inside.
People have already started calling me for Heritage Caravan. When are we announcing? When are we announcing?
No other public or private sector initiative showcases Ghana like the way the Heritage Caravan does. You know, the whole Ghana Month, right? Heritage Month on City initiative alone is like
It's a whole
it's the gold standard.
thing.
Ibab. So yeah,
It's
congratulations to the
World Cup.
team. Congratulations to the
It's
team.
the World Cup.
The programs and
Right.
events
Let me
team
bring
who
you
made
what's
this happen.
happening on graphic.com.gh. A bit of the stories read. Seek medical care when ill. That's Reverend Steve Mensah to Christians. Karachi East Chiefs Lord Balmia's decent campaign and praise developmental gains under NPP. Bloody Friday in Mankasim as man gunned down over chieftaincy wranglings. UESD Just One Group partner to promote environmental development. French Embassy marks Volunteers Day. $1 million project to address water challenges in Upper East launched. Seek medical care, I've already read that. Address whole water supply problem to save industry, as according to the Volta Development Forum to government. Weed out chieftaincy disputes for progress, Agotime Kono. Professor Ebenezer Daku is new GIMPA deputy rector. What stories?
Let me just bring this headline and I delve into the Reuters story about some terrorist activities happening in Ghana. But just briefly, Ayoko Boche's election to head the Commonwealth is victory for Ghanaian diplomacy. And Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, well, I said, was the Africa Union High Representative for Silencing Guns in Africa. An interesting portfolio. And also, this story, right, if you've been following the news, you realize that the NDC running mate, Jenano Poku, professor, had to suspend her campaign when she got to Baku after some stories about an alleged terrorist plot and all of that started coming up in the area, And the story was misplaced all over the place because there wasn't really a lot of information on it. Then subsequently on Thursday, we saw also a story by Reuters, international media house or platform, where they were reporting of an alleged terrorist activity in northern Ghana and how Ghana had become a safe haven, right, in terms of supplies and all of that for these terrorist groups. And the National Security Ministry, led by Albert Kandapa, have come out to, debunk these alleged terrorist activities. So, except for the story reads, the National Security Ministry has refuted a Reuters report claiming that Islamist militants are using northern Ghana as a logistical and medical base. Describing the publication as erroneous and irresponsible, the ministry urged the public and international community to disregard the report, asserting that it is unfounded and not based on actual information. The story goes on to say, the ministry hereby calls on all relevant stakeholders to go and seek for proper clarity on all government initiatives from the Ministry of Information and other government agencies. So the story goes on and on and on and on. But basically, it said that the statement or that story by Reuters about the use of parts of northern Ghana as a logistical and medical and supply base for some terrorist activities were not true, they were unfounded, and they had come out. There's a statement here which details or gives a point-by-point breakdown of what the situation really is. So if you want to see the statement, it's on both the citynewsroom.com and also GhanaNewsAgency.com.
Right. Let me bring the story. Akufo-Addo hails Ayoko Boche's election as Secretary General of the Commonwealth. And yesterday we congratulated her on Weekend Daily. So a bit of the story is President Nana Akufo-Addo has extended his heartfelt congratulations to Shirley Ayoko Boche on her election as Commonwealth Secretary General, a historic achievement for both Ghana and the broader African continent. Announcing his support in a post on X on Saturday, President Akufo-Addo lauded Boche's dedication to inclusive governance and her commitment to progress, qualities he believes will define her leadership within the Commonwealth. The president's message of congratulations also highlighted his appreciation for the unwavering support of Commonwealth leaders who endorsed Ayoko Boche's candidacy, which ultimately led to her successful election during the Commonwealth Heads of Government October 25 meeting held in Apia, Samoa Akufo-Addo acknowledged that this collective backing played an essential role in her election and underlined how her success mirrors Ghana's growing prominence on the global stage, adding to the nation's record of international influence and contribution to global governance. The Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration selection marks a significant milestone as she becomes one of the few African leaders to hold the esteemed position of Commonwealth Secretary General. President Akufo-Addo emphasized that this achievement is not only a testament to Ayoko Botwe's personal merit and diplomatic expertise, but also a source of pride for Ghana, signaling the country's capacity to shape discussions and policies within international bodies like the Commonwealth. And there was a beautiful picture where Nana tweeted his, "Today I feel a deep sense of pride." etc, etc. So congratulations to Shirley Ayoko Botwe again.
You know,
when I started journalism, I said I pronounced the name Botwe. I pronounced it as it was spelled.
You mentioned
Botwe.
it yesterday.
So congratulations to her. This is a amazing feat for Ghana, and I hope she goes. I know she will overperform, and make the country proud.
She will definitely deliver. I mean, Chambers said it was a way for Ghanaian diplomacy, and I certainly agree. I know some politics, right?
Right.
If you follow the campaign trail so far, you realize that the MPP presidential flag bearer, right? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he's taking the Volta region by storm, right? Impressive crowd sizes and all of that. Touring, the last time I checked, Ketu North, he's been to different constituencies within the Volta region. His running mate, Napo, whose story I'll bring to you shortly, has also, developed an interesting campaign strategy where he's meeting health training institutions across the country, trying to get a specific message across to them, right? Primarily telling them about how the MPP restored their training allowance, as other people call it, and how the NDC intends to cancel it and all of that. So you get a sense that's a really tailored message. The NDC, on the other hand, their flag bearer has been based in Accra over the past couple of weeks, engaging the diplomatic community, So I think yesterday he posted photos of his engagements with some ambassadors and high commissioners, pointing out their challenges they have with the EC and other state institutions as we head into the elections. His running mate, Professor Jenano Opoku's campaign has been in the north largely, where she was also meeting some chiefs and community leaders up until she suspended her campaign as a result of the Boku disturbances that we had recently. Samira has also been on the campaign in the north. And it's amazing, Charlie, the sheer numbers, the crowd sizes.
If only the crowd sizes amounted to the votes that you received.
Yeah.
Then you could say that the crowd sizes, means I'm winning. Or
yeah, I have a theory that there's no correlation whatsoever with crowd sizes and the actual and how it translates into votes, right?
No,
but maybe that can be debated.
Some people just come to one day because they want to see you. They've heard Samira is beautiful. They've heard Bawumia.
But yesterday, for example, on the Big Issue show with Seloma Donu, the MP for Bole Bamboy, Yusuf Sulemana, right? He is in the Savannah region. And, Selom asked him about how the campaign is going. And he was so bent on making the point that, campaigns, crowds really do not have any correlation whatsoever in election numbers.
Agree with you.
And, he was making the point that other parties are bassing, of course, trying to jab the incumbent and all of that because they have the resources. But the NDC have stuck to, let the crowd be organic and all of that. And, if a politician starts talking like that, you can make some sort of, you can infer that maybe in one breath, they are watching their opponent's numbers. For example, what Bawumia is doing in the Volta region, and now they're a bit jittery. There's always some underlying issue that they don't really say.
Yeah.
They say inarticulate motive, right? So the crowd sizes is interesting. Alan too did a massive work in Ashanti region, right? As to whether that will also translate to votes, we can't really tell. But let me just maybe we should ask our viewers what they think about crowd sizes and
someone was saying nowadays we don't give them
anything to talk about.
So we should ask them.
The country
look
itself
into your camera and ask them.
The country itself needs to be talked about. On this show you can talk to us about anything really that bothers you, from any issue at all, send in a message 0204447033. We here will be glad to read it across. If you need any help, we'll try and give you that help as well, right? So yeah, maybe you should just tell us what you make of crowd sizes and campaigns, whether or not they have an impact in actual voter turnout, or whether it's just part of the whole grand scheme of things to look good ahead of an election. But anyway, the big story here is that vote for MPP to protect your future. NAPO tells nursing students. The MPP's vice presidential candidate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has called on nursing students to support the new patriotic party, emphasizing that their votes are crucial to securing key policies like Agenda 111, the nationwide hospital project, addressing students at the Pantine Nursing and Midwifery Training College in Accra. Dr. Prempeh encouraged them to help prevent former President John Dramani Mahama from returning to power, arguing that the former NDC administration mismanaged issues affecting nursing trainees. He emphasized that the restoration of training allowances by the MPP demonstrates their commitment to nursing students' welfare, contrasting it with the NDC's cancellation of allowances, which he claimed caused significant hardships for students during Mahama's tenure. Dr. Prempeh asserted that the upcoming election is a choice between the stability offered by the MPP's policies and the risks posed by Mahama's leadership. So you know what, in 2016, when we were building up to the election, it was a topical issue, right? Where Mahama said that he didn't care whether it cost him his presidency, he was not going to pay. And it did. Yeah, because his argument was that people go to the university, we don't pay them. So why are nurses different? And in any case, the nurses, there are like ready jobs available for you upon completion and all of that. So the NDC at the time made the strong arguments, right, which was very unpopular, I must say. And they probably paid the price for it at the polls when they cancelled. So the MPP have been quite strategic with their campaign, in my opinion, where who rather would you have talking to health training nurses rather than somebody who is a medic himself, right? So he knows the challenges, even though we've not seen him in practice in recent times. He's a doctor, a medical doctor. So he knows the industry quite a bit, the health sector. He knows the challenges in there. So it's interesting how he's been deployed on the campaign. As to whether these training nurses will listen to his message, that's another thing. But I've seen a couple of videos where the campaign looked energetic and very with a lot of enthused and enthusiastic crowd. So it'll be interesting how it plays out in the next few weeks, as December 7th, just about 40 days, 41 days. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Because I remember when we started a countdown from like 300 days, 100, it's just 40.
Yes, I feel Chabanti. So because I'll come meet you the next year. Don't worry.
Why are you? I'm feeling attacked, but don't worry.
Oh, why are you feeling attacked? I don't know.
No, never mind.
There's a story on ChannelOneNews.com. 90% of Ghanaians seek honest candidates for 2024 elections. That's according to an Afrobarometer report. And the picture has most of the presidential candidates from Bawumia, Mahama, Alan, and Cheddar. So a bit of that story. A new Afrobarometer report reveals that honesty, character, and campaign promises are the top factors that will shape Ghanaian voter choices in the 2024 elections, with 90% of respondents prioritizing a candidate's honesty, 88% emphasizing character, and 59% considering campaign promises. This data underscores a preference for integrity and personality over mere political pledges among Guinean voters. The report also highlights a notable level of trust in institutions like the Ghana Armed Forces, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and civil society organizations, ranking them as the most trusted entities. In contrast, trust in state institutions such as the police, the presidency, tax officials, members of parliament, and the judiciary continues to decline, particularly compared to 2012 levels. Public perception of corruption remains high, with 74% of Guineans reporting an increase in corruption over the past year, even as this represents a slight decrease from 2022 levels. What do you look out for when you go to the polls, when you go and vote? Let me put you on the spot.
You know, I assess the manifestos of all the candidates who are, or at least the two leading, right? I don't think we've got to
you
a
don't
time
add
where
a third person, a
our
third force.
democracy has matured enough for a third
force.
A third force. I don't think so. So I look at both manifestos, I assess what they have in there for, you know, having to advance the country. I assess what they have in there for my contemporary or my age group, right? I look at what they seek to do in terms of the hard issues around the economy, how they have to deal with the structural problems, right? So I've always maintained that if you look at our economy, or if you look at the way things are done in the country, until there's that kind of structural change in the way we manage the economy at its fundamental core, not a lot of things will change, right? So we always keep coming back to the whole depreciation, inflation conversation. So I assess all of those, and you know, I make a decision based on the most convincing argument. So that's exactly what I'll be doing in December as well. You know, there's both solutions, there's reset.
So as you sit here, do you know who you're voting for? You're still assessing?
You know, a lot can change up until December 7th.
Can
right?
it?
Yeah, a lot can change.
I mean, if you're only voting based on their manifestos already out, so you probably have a fair idea of
but your conduct, you know,
to.
so there's the manifesto bit, then there's also the conduct of the candidates, right, and the people around the campaign, right? You know, it's a mixed bag. It's not a one-fits-all kind of approach, right? Thing. So you want to make a decision that encompasses all the values and beliefs you have as a person. So it will take some time, but you know, and a lot from now to December 7th, it's a long time. Anything can change. Somebody can go and make some now absurd promise that I'll be so not so much in support of, that can swing it, you know. And the one who thinks he's in a comfortable league can also do something that I'm like, no, based on this particular. See, in the US, you know, the values, like their values matter. People make decisions based on like hard issues like abortion, like of course the economy and all of those things, but like their values and all of. So it's not easy like that. It's not a straight jacket like that. Yeah. Right. So there's a lot more at stake and a lot more can change. But I don't know. Talking about the US, let me just bring you some headlines, some foreign news headlines on, and this is from the CNN. The ball is in Iran's court after US pressure pays off. This is about some confrontation between Israel and Iran, which is escalating, according to the CNN. The elections is also building up strongly in the US. Trump in Michigan makes a play for Arab American and Muslim voters angry over war in Gaza. Also here, Georgia's ruling party wins pivotal election. Early results show. Some other stories. Commonwealth leaders say a time has come for discussion on UK slavery reparations. You know, that would be an interesting test for Madam Shirley Ayokobochi, how she's able to push this message or otherwise, really, with regards to the Commonwealth and reparation concerns. Over here, 124 killed as Sudanese paramilitary group attacks village doctors and activists. This serious. And also, bus crash in central Mexico kills 19, at least 126 dead and missing in massive flooding and landslides in Philippines. And these are some of the big stories on CNN. I read somewhere that Kamala was also scheduled to campaign with Beyonce. So, Charlie, you know, Ghana, we are dealing with our problems, but Charlie,
it was amazing. Yeah, they've already done that.
The last I checked, I saw reports that Beyonce didn't show up and people were pissed.
She showed up. She showed up, and she was even introduced by her mother, Tina Noel. So yes, she showed up.
That's really amazing.
But back here in Ghana, City FM and ChannelOne TV, we held a capacity training for journalists ahead of the election 2024. And in pictures, you see our very own Vivian Kailoko and Bernard Avle passionately talking about, you know, the upcoming elections, and you can follow us in real time for all your election coverage. Hashtag Election Bureau, hashtag City Verify, and there's one last hashtag 2020 Ghana Polls 2024.
So it's hashtag Election Bureau, hashtag City Verify, hashtag Ghana Polls 2024. Amazing.
So
and
follow us in real time.
On that Ghana Polls 2024 note, we want to find out from you, what do you make of crowd sizes, right, going into an election? You know, in the US, it's funny because the first time Barack Obama actively joined the campaign, you know, he made mockery of Donald Trump's infatuation with crowd sizes. And he did, like, you know, he made a funny joke and it resonated a lot of people. So I want to find out from you, what do you make of it? Does it have any effect in your view and your opinion with the actual votes? Or you think it's just people are biased and for that reason, you know,
it doesn't amount to anything?
Share with us 0204447032. Read your views. I will have a little engagement discussion on that. But we'll take a quick break. When we are back, we have a lot more exciting content for you right here on Sunday Breakfast.